Nirespeto ba ang due process ni former President Rodrigo Duterte nung inaresto siya at nilipat sa The Hague kahapon? As in all legal questions, the answer will differ depending on which side you ask. Ayon sa Team Duterte, hindi, pero ayon sa Malacanang, oo. Regular daw ang naging proseso kahapon kay former President Rodrigo Duterte. Ayon yan kay Yusek Claire Castro of Malacanang, who just finished giving a press conference today. Ngayon, bakit importante ang tanong na to? It's not only a moral question or an ethical question comparing Duterte's war on drugs to the due process or fair trial that was deprived of the victims of the drug war. Importanteng tanungin ang tanong na to because likely it will be part of former President Rodrigo Duterte's defense before the ICC. So, isa-isahin natin. Dalawa kasi yung framework na pwedeng tignan sa nangyaring transfer kay President Duterte. Number one, yung Interpol. Ang nakalagay sa Interpol, any arrest is provisional pending extradition or surrender of the suspect. Malinaw na sinabi ng Malacanang na hindi extradition yung ginawa nila kay former President Rodrigo Duterte, kundi isang surrender. Kung surrender, mahahanap mo rin ang word na to or ang language na surrender under Article 60 of the Rome Statute, which says a person or a suspect has to be surrendered to the court. Ang tanong ay, dun ba sa pag-surrender kay President Duterte ay nirespeto ba lahat ng kanyang rights? Some lawyers would say maybe not because kung Rome Statute yung titignan nating basehan, dapat ay dinala siya sa isang proper judicial authority, which means a court, which means a judge. At sinabi naman ng Team Duterte na walang nakitang judge, walang nakitang court, walang nilapitan na court. Only the Prosecutor General was present there, who is under the executive. But if you ask the lawyer of the victims of the drug wars, Attorney Cristina Conti, who is herself an accredited counsel, assistant to counsel for the ICC, ang para sa kanya, substantial due process was followed. To quote her, Duterte has received far much better treatment than any of his victims. Sabi nga ni Attorney Conti, meron bang pumunta dyan para tignan na maayos siya? Meron bang nag-confirm na tama yung taong inaaresto nila? Meron bang nag-make sure na okay yung health niya? Nabasahan ba siya ng Miranda rights? We saw a video of the PNP CIDG chief reading him his Miranda rights. There were two high-level DOJ officials present there in the plane, in the airport, and in the room reading him his charges, and the Prosecutor General did tell us na binasahan siya ng charges. So for Attorney Conti, the lawyer of the victim, substantial due process was followed here. But of course, like the team, the camp of former President Duterte can say that due process had to be followed by letter, to the letter of the law. And yun yung expectedly idudulog niya sa ICC, because what will happen now when he is turned over to the ICC in The Hague, the first hearing, the first process will ensue, which is the confirmation of charges hearing, kung saan ito pwede nang sabihin ni Duterte na na-violate ang kanyang due process, and the Rome Statute allows him to file an application for an interim release. Kumbaga sa atin ay pwede siyang mag-apply para sa piyansa at titignan ng mga judges ng ICC kung papayagan nila. The problem with this route for Duterte is if he says that his due process was violated because under sa Rome Statute, dapat pinakita siya sa husgado, parang ina-accept niya na merong jurisdiction sa kanya ang ICC. Whilst on the other hand, he's always claimed na walang jurisdiction sa kanya yung ICC. That's why human rights lawyer and former Bayan Muna Representative Nery Colmenares was saying this is a dilemma for Duterte because he cannot invoke to be covered by a due process under the Rome Statute when he himself claims hindi siya dapat covered ng Rome Statute. So this is the legal dilemma for President Duterte. Again, we're talking about due process, not only morally or ethically, although that is an important discussion, but also because it is expectedly it will be part of President Rodrigo Duterte's defense before the ICC and can be a factor kung papayagan ba siyang magbigyan ng interim release o mapapayagan ba siyang umuwi dito. Ngayon, balikan natin yung sinasabi na surrender ng Malacanang, no? If your basis is all the Instagram posts of the daughter, si Kitty Duterte, you would probably think there's hindi nag-surrender si President Duterte. But if you ask international law experts, surrender just means bringing a person to an authority, which is bringing Duterte to court. It may not mean sumuko ka. It just means you bring the physical body of a person to the court, which is happening now. And some experts will say resistance is always expected, which all wraps up into the irony of yung nanlaban, yung nag-resist ba siya, which was the battle cry of the police force under Rodrigo Duterte. Nandito ako ngayon sa Quezon City kung saan katatapos lang ng press conference ng mga asawa, mga nanay ng mga biktima ng war on drugs ni President Duterte. And we heard them say their piece kanina. One of the remarkable ones was Mrs. Dalia Cuartero, yung anak niya, si Jesus or si The Boy na namatay noong 26 years old siya. Sinabi ni Dalia Cuartero na noong nabalitaan niyang meron daw pinatay, hinanap niya ng hinanap yung kanyang anak. Kaya ang mensahe niya kay Kitty Duterte na nagsasabing kinidnap ang tatay niya, ang sabi ni Dalia Cuartero, hindi mo alam ang pakiramdam na maghanap ng patay. So that is the feelings and the statements of the victims of the drug war, the survivors of Duterte's drug war. This is basically day one again of the whole entire process. It has taken 8 years. 8 years since the filing of the first communication, 7 years since the start of the preliminary examination. But upon this arrest, we might as well reset to day one dahil walang time frame kung kailan matatapos or kung kailan magaganap yung trial. It may take another 8 years. So this is a long way to go, and we will be following all the legal steps, all the legal saga, both in the International Criminal Court in The Hague and both in the Supreme Court dahil may na-file na doon na 2 petisyon ang Team Duterte. Mula dito sa Quezon City, Lian Buan, Rappler Report.